something that's helped me quite a bit with accepting myself and learning how to be a better version of myself is listening to people and their trans experiences. Trans men are some of the strongest versions of healthy masculinity I've ever been lucky enough to be able to come across. And just the way that they discuss things, their struggles, the things that they've been able to cope with, the things that they've not been able to cope with. It's made me feel seen in a way that I never thought I would be able to. The more that trans people make content, the more that they share their perspectives, the more that I think cis people benefit from those things. What are you most excited for in your transition as you go through puberty here?
Growing up, I never got to experience certain things or make memories as myself because of the mismatch and like misalignment between, you know, sex and gender. It is nice to get to a point where I can have like genuine relationships and friendships and moments and experiences that feel like me. For example, going to TwitchCon. Like, I went to TwitchCon in Hewwo in 2025 and it was like my first convention. And it was a lot of fun.
I really wanted to go.
You should.
Maybe next year. Maybe I'll get to meet you.
I mean, you know, if 2026 works out, you could meet me.
Maybe. I'll definitely tell 0 people if I am going, though. Because, you know, people be weird. I'll just go incognito. I'll dress as Batman or something. I shouldn't have said that. I will definitely not be dressed as... I don't already have an outfit for Batman ready to go for me to travel to TwitchCon, okay? Shut up. Don't write that down. Go cosplay a femboy OT. I think I'm too bear-coded to do femboy.
No, you can do that. I think that being a femboy is more... It's like an expression. It's like on a similar level as like being goth.
I could do some bubblegum goth. I'd be down for that.
It's about vibes. Exactly.
Who am I kidding? My soul is too dark. I'm gonna have to be in black makeup and black clothing and black fishnets. It's not gonna work out. Oh, how I yearn to be bubblegum goth, and yet I was allotted my life to just be dark goth.
When I was growing up, I always I felt so sad because like, okay, I was born male. I'm like being forced into this. Why couldn't I just be one of those guys that look like girls? I think I was like more jealous. Like I was obviously like really jealous of like cis girls, but I was really jealous of like guys who passed as girls and had like the girl voice. That's also like the girl voice trolling, and it's like, yeah, I want to do that. And I want to have like the voice that helps me to be perceived online as a woman, but it's just like part of my identity and not like a troll or something.
How often is voice training something that you practice?
I do have exercises, but I haven't had this moment where it clicked with me. I had professional voice lessons for a really long time, but then I could still afford it, and I have made a lot of progress. Okay. But like for these past 2 years, I've been definitely like kind of struggling.
Okay. Yeah, some people really take to it. Other people, it takes longer. Some people don't do any voice training at all, and they just, you know, use whatever stock standard voice they're most comfortable in. I find that really interesting. I notice that a lot of cis people as well would potentially benefit from voice training.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Like, if you just do it in order to practice different voices or, like, find out...
That too. It's great for meme videos.
Exactly. Exactly. Just play around with your voice. But for me, it's just... It is something that I struggle with. Obviously, it's valid if you don't, you know, voice train or something. But it feels like there are, like, certain standards for society and constantly being misgendered, or... When I play games, being called a femboy, being called gay or something, that is something that I'd like to not have to endure as much. I would like to have like a phone call or upload a video and have people instantly go, oh, that's a woman, oh, she, her. Because it always feels like I have to basically out myself to other people and then rely on them to be respectful enough to use my pronouns for me. And that makes me feel really guilty.
You feel guilt around that.
Yeah.
Around asking people to respect you and respect your space.
People typically don't think about the pronouns that they use for other people. They just put everyone in like a box. And if you break that system, now they have to think. And I don't want people to think because they hear my voice and they don't know how to place me.
Do you feel like you limit a lot of what you would like to experience because you're worried about being a burden to others?
Yeah, damn. Yeah.
Do you think that holding yourself back to try to appease people that will never be happy with you anyways is a healthy way to spend time?
I think it's not necessarily about the people who will never respect me anyway. It's about the people who are neutral. And I think that I put more emphasis when it comes to transitioning on like how random people on the street or random people on the phone perceive me instead of, you know, my friends, or on the other end, people on Twitter who are going to yell at me no matter what.
Twitter is definitely a space where not the happiest people like to congregate. And similarly in gaming spaces as well, there's a lot of unhealed people with trauma that they're never going to look inwards on and try to better themselves as individual and start treating others with respect. And that's often why they lash out so much at other people.
Oh yeah.
And worrying about whether or not you can get them to be respectful and to get them to treat you as you would like to be treated. That might often be maybe an unwise investment of time, but I see where you're coming from, where it would definitely make life easier if this wasn't something you'd have to think about often and second guess those moments, and just, it would be nice to just be able to exist.
It is crazy how much more validity I get from people just gendering me correctly, like just average people gendering me correctly. Like when I was in Paris and somebody called me madame, like that's something that is still like stuck in my head. And it's like, you know, that feels nice. Dressing up and being gendered correctly, it makes me feel better, I guess, about myself. And it breaks a lot of like these worries and anxiety that I had when it comes to, oh, I don't want to wear a dress because then people are going to think that I'm just a man in a dress. And then people are going to stare at me. And then I'm going to be worried. And what if I have people who are going to be aggressive towards me because I'm just a man in a dress and people are transphobic? And like to just be able to like dress up and be gendered correctly. And I was like, oh, are they just nice? Like, I was like still a worry, but it's a quieter voice at this point. But when it comes...
I love that you've been able to find that confidence within yourself to really represent yourself honestly and to be able to step away a little bit from that instinct to try to protect yourself all the time and to just allow yourself to experience and exist. I'm sure if past you could see you now, I'm sure you'd be really proud of yourself.
I think that when it comes to transitioning, this like mental aspect is definitely a huge aspect as well. Oh my god, I'm actually going to cry.
People do focus a lot on skirt goes spinny. And they don't really talk a lot about the other side of things.
Oh yeah.
And that's really great for you to be so open about this so other people can maybe not model their behavior similarly, but so that they know that they're not alone in those kind of struggles as well. Like you said, for some people, it can be so easy. You can see a cis man able to present as femme without even caring about it. Just comes naturally. They got the right bone structure. They have the right, as you said, the right voice. You know, it's what others would expect of someone. And they wouldn't second guess it. But then if we don't see that for ourselves, it could be something where we find that we have a bit of a mental block about it. And even if people accept us as we are and don't second guess it, we're still second guessing those interactions, you know.
When I started creating content, I didn't have voice training. I always got like comments of people being like, why didn't you just figure everything out before making videos? Why didn't you have the perfect voice? Why don't you just use a voice changer? Why don't you do all these things?
Why didn't you meet my expectations before you started making your content?
Exactly. And it was definitely like something, for me, it was a way to, I guess, document and share my journey and show like the side of transitioning that is being brushed off.
It's amazing that you're you've got this much strength that you're able to not only put up with those feelings of doubt and those people that have been unkind to you, but also to be such a strong example in the community of how far someone can go when they're just learning to be themselves and to be comfortable with what they want to do. That's amazing.
Thank you. I always feel sad when I see so much anger and resentment in the trans community, especially at those trans women who quote unquote pass and are conventionally attractive and fulfill these societal expectations, and they're like, well, I will never get there. I don't have like thousands of dollars in order to get facial feminization surgery or fix my hairline and so on. Especially when it comes to VGen or even some subreddits, there's just so much hurt. I can relate to these things. It sucks that society expects so much from trans people, especially when it comes to trans women. Societal expectations for cis women are already incredibly high, and beauty norms and beauty expectations. Like, there's cis women who do not meet these standards. Mm-hmm. And then trans women are expected to fulfill this, especially if they didn't have puberty blockers as a kid, and they didn't transition early on, and they didn't have surgeries, and they don't have like a certain voice, and they don't meet all of these things. I even had, back in the day, I had interactions with people who were like, I don't mind femboys, but they need to look like real girls.
You need to meet my expectations, or I'm not going to respect you. What an unhealed person.
Yeah.
What a disappointing individual. Mm-hmm. That's something that you really can't take ownership over. They're going to behave that way regardless of whomever is in front of them. And if someone eventually potentially meets that expectation, that unrealistic standard they're setting out for people, they're still not going to respect them.
Yeah, the goalpost is always being moved, and then I was like, well, okay, now you look like a woman, you're cosplaying a woman, but you still can't get pregnant, so you can't fulfill the societal norm. So actually everything was for nothing, and I'm still going to invalidate you or use AI to make you look like a man.
I find something that's helped me quite a bit with accepting myself and learning how to be a better version of myself is listening to people and their trans experiences. Trans men are some of the strongest versions of healthy masculinity I've ever been lucky enough to be able to come across. And just the way that they discuss things, their struggles, the things that they've been able to cope with, the things that they've not been able to cope with. It's made me feel seen in a way that I never thought I would be able to feel.
Yeah.
And the more that trans people make content, the more that they share their perspectives, the more that I think cis people benefit from those things, from those conversations, from those videos. And I would hope more cis people would learn to listen.
Yeah.
I've only ever benefited from listening to those conversations. And I can only imagine how much more impactful that would be to any eggs out there that haven't cracked yet. Being able to listen to what you've gone through, but then how you've also been able to come to the other side of it.
Even when it comes to just breaking the gender expectations and just like thinking about, do you do something because you like doing this or because it's expected of a man or a woman? Mm-hmm. Like, for me, when I started transitioning, one of like the early things that I did was, okay, when I get a shampoo, when I get a soap, I don't just restrict myself to the men's section. I can now freely explore. And if there's something that is unisex or something in the women's, like, it's fine. And I can just take this.